With the release of the first Rolling Stones album in 18 years, well, the first one of new material, Keith Richards has come out and spoken about how age is affecting his guitar playing. And if there's one thing Keith Richards knows about, it's playing a guitar. Now in his 80th year, he is still absolutely transfixed by playing a guitar. The fascinating thing is, the more you play it, the less you know it, he says. It provides you with endless questions. You can never know the whole thing, it's impossible. But whilst the Rolling Stones sound has transcended time, unfortunately Richard's hands haven't. As you can see in the photo here, they are completely gnarled with arthritis. Has it affected his playing? Funnily enough, I've no doubt it has, but I don't have any pain. It's a sort of benign version, he says. I think if I've slowed down a little, it's probably due more to age than anything else. And I've also found that interesting. When I'm like, I can't quite do that anymore, the guitar will show me there's another way of doing it. Some finger will go one space different and a whole new door opens. And so you're always learning. You never finish school, man. As for the new album, Richards reckons it's pretty damn good. But it's not an album, he says. It's just a lot of tracks. He says the reason they made the album is because after they finished their 60th anniversary tour last year, rather than going their separate ways, Jagger said he wanted to go straight into the studio. And that hit the right spot for Richards. He said, I've always wanted to record as soon as we get off the road because that's when the band's lubricating. And what he means by that is after being on the road together for so long, that if you excuse the pun, they're all completely in tune with each other. The new album's got the usual Stones rocking songs like Angry and Depending on You, and it's got a improvised gospel stomp called Sweet Sounds of Heaven, and a country song like Dreamy Skies. So they're retreading a well-worked formula, done them well over the years. Have you heard it? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comments. Richards went on to say that they've been in the studio before after tours, but this time Jagger set a deadline of by the end of the year he wanted all the tracks done. He was helped by producer Andrew Watt, who's produced everyone from Miley Cyrus through to Iggy Pop and Ozzy Osbourne. Richards said he enjoyed working with Watt and said he had just the right amount of energy and the right amount of know-how to pull it off. As I'm sure most of you know, Jagger and Richards have been the lifeblood of the Stones. It's been their songwriting that have made all the hits. And they have contrasting styles because Jagger's more analytical and strategic, whereas Keith Richards tends to just run on instinct. They first met at primary school, and then years later they bumped into each other on a train going into London and both discovered that they shared the same love of the blues. Within a year they joined a band with Brian Jones. Originally they were mainly a covers band, but their manager, Andrew Luke Oldham, said that if they wanted to make money they'd have to start writing their own songs, which they did, and they never looked back. When you think about the amount of classics they've written over the decades, it's just staggering. So it's going to be interesting to see what people think of the new album. Have they still got it, or are they over the hill? Over the year, Jagger and Richards have had their differences, and I think this is what keeps the spark in the band. This will be the first album since Charlie Watts died, and he's been replaced by Steve Jordan. This is who Charlie Watts wanted to replace him. The album also contains quite a lot of guest appearances from well-known people. The star attraction is Lady Gaga, who trades vocals with Jagger on Sweet Sounds of Heaven. Richard says he loves working with her because she had a great attitude and a great voice. Stevie Wonder's on there as well, along with Paul McCartney and Elton John. Their old bassist Bill Wyman even makes an appearance. So Richards doesn't think that his playing has been compromised by his arthritis on the new album at all, just slowed down a bit because of his age. Well, that's understandable really. What do you think? Have you got any favourite songs on it? Let me know in the comments.